Hello and welcome to Doing Life Together with Sonia Eckel, episode 74. Oh my goodness. So tonight I'm going to share a product that I've been testing for at least a couple of months. It might be 3 months and might be more actually. Time flies when you're having fun. And I found this product and I read up on it and I thought, wow, this looks amazing. But I didn't know, and actually I've tried so many gums, a lot of natural gums. So let's just back this up. First of all, chewing gum. Do you chew gum? Are you not a gum chewer? Do your kids, if you've got kids, do they chew gum? Tell me, what's it like at your house? So what I have found is I chewed a ton of gum in high school, like all the time. And back then, Trident was all kind of the rage. And I also drank cans upon cans, 2 liters upon 2 liters of Diet Coke as well. So I was not super savvy with my wellness and my biohacking and my anti-aging stuff, consuming extreme levels of aspartame, right? So if you've watched my previous episode on that topic, then you know that I did this little informal quote study interviewing my patients with long-term health issues and autoimmune. And so you can go back and I don't remember which episode that was, but aspartame. Talked about it. I was drinking a ton, chewing gum with aspartame, drinking Diet Pop, and cut absolute cold turkey when I learned what I started researching. So then, as a mom of kiddos who like to chew gum, I began on my natural non-aspartame gum search. And we found some that were decent, and we've used those for years, and they primarily lean into xylitol instead of aspartame. So number one thing to mention here is xylitol is toxic to dogs, but for humans, it seems to have a fair amount of dental benefits. So that's, I felt much better about them chewing gum with that versus the stuff that you buy in the store. In fact, I got so frustrated because when we grew up, we had sugar gum. Right now, I'm not promoting that. I don't suppose chewing a bunch of sugar into your teeth is the healthiest for long-term dental health either. However, even the sugar gums now have aspartame. I was like, oh my goodness, it's everywhere. So I started reading gum labels and really found that the only way I could find gum that passed my test was online. So I ordered it online and have done that for years. Then over a year ago, I began to research hydroxyapatite. I did a whole episode on it back then. And again, in raising my children, which now is over 2 decades, which kind of blows my mind. But one of the things I have learned about my personality style is I do the deep dive. If those of you who know me know that when I am interested in something, I tend to kind of deep dive it. And one of the things I deep dove over 2 decades ago was fluoride and choosing differently what we did for our kids versus doing the typical fluoride treatments and all of that. And honestly, we got resistance from most dentists back then. They were not necessarily thrilled with our decision until we found a dentist when we were in Sioux Falls who was just so like open to it, but they were kind of a little ahead of their time. They did completely away with the amalgam fillings and they had moved only to white fillings. So I felt like they weren't necessarily a wellness dentist, but they seemed open about it, which was great. And so they just put on our charts that we were declining the fluoride treatments. And we would do, they had cool things like they would do the polish, the fluoride-free polish, which who knew fluoride was in the polish, but I've learned it is. And even some floss is fluoridated. So do your research. This 2 decades ago was a very foreign topic in most circles. Now it's kind of front and center, thanks to Bobby Kennedy, who I think that's how it just sort of like got mainstream all of a sudden. But they're just finding a lot about it. So if you haven't heard this, well, maybe this is your moment to go, okay, is this the best option, especially for kiddos, right? And there's always a poison alert on fluoride toothpaste, not to swallow it. And yet, of course, we have fluoride in most city water supplies, which I know some cities are shifting away from. But anyway, okay, so as long as I am going to get to the gum, trust me, I'm getting there and it's going to be worth the wait. But this is my journey in getting there, is that I began to hear that Japan used hydroxyapatite and really hadn't been using fluoride. Now, I don't know if this is true, but this is what first piqued my interest toward hydroxyapatite, and I began searching it up. Now it's again become much, much more common from when I even started, which wasn't all that long ago. And so then I thought, wow, okay, this is an amazing seeming natural ingredient that the claim is, and of course I'm not making any medical claims, I'm just telling you what I found in my work, my research. You need to do your own research. Hashtag do your research. That's always my hashtag. Don't listen to Sonia. Don't do something just because I said. I'm just here to kind of like ring the bell and say, hey, do you want to look at this, or maybe you want to look at that, right? Okay, so hydroxyapatite, though, one of the cool things is its ability to help your body remineralize teeth. And remineralizing teeth is not a new concept. People for years have been swishing with coconut oil and said like that could help. I even tried that for a short period because I was like, ooh, that sounds cool. And I didn't stick with it. I totally fell off that train super fast. And if you're oil swishing or whatever it's called, oil pulling is what that's called. And good for you. But mostly my passion has been like, how can I help my children keep good teeth through really good nutrition? I feel like nutrition is super, super important for dental health. But there's also, I think if I'm not mistaken, I once read an article about in the womb, the baby is forming his or her baby teeth and adult teeth. Oh goodness, I didn't do this research before. And now I'm like, are they all formed in the womb? So obviously mom's nutrition, genetic components, like it's not a one issue topic, right? Like there's a lot of contributing factors. However, I do believe nutrition, of course, helps. But oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I'm kind of going like further than I intended to go tonight, but maybe this is meant for somebody. So I grew up on a farm, well water, and in our town, there was actually a really high cancer rate. So there was kind of a huge water scare. And so because of that, we actually had our well water tested and it was very safe. It didn't have all the bad stuff. Now, the benefit, the fact that I grew up on well water is I didn't grow up on fluoridated water. So that I see that as a benefit. I don't know if everyone would, but I do. And so we still use the standard toothpaste and stuff, but have been super, super, super grateful to have really good teeth. And I was, I think maybe after I had Sam, I went to the dentist and my first ever cavity, they said, you have this little tiny divot. Do you want us to fill it? And I said, sure, you can fill it. And that was my first experience with it. And then I went to the dentist here a while back. I shared this with you guys. And they were checking my teeth. This was before my hydroxyapatite, all of that. And they checked my teeth and they're like, oh, so you just have this tiny little divot. And I go, well, I do have one filling in my mouth, like thinking, is it around that? And they're like, no, you don't have any fillings. And I said, oh, is it possible it could have popped out? And they're like, yep. Do you want us to refill it? I said, nope, I'm going to remineralize it. Because I had just started researching hydroxyapatite. I thought, this is perfect. I get to try like a little study on my own teeth. So that is what I started doing. And when I kind of shifted over to some of those products, and then I went back to my dentist, same one, and she checked my teeth. She goes, your mouth looks amazing. No cavities. And so I think that's really cool. All right. So then I found chewing gum with xylitol and hydroxyapatite. But what really got me with this gum that I just think it's really cool. So I will share the link if you guys are dying to get a gum that is what I'm sharing here. Let me see if I can do this. I'll drop it in the show notes on Instagram because I can't share. Or actually, if you just go to, I don't know if that's going to scan for you or not. But anyway, if you just go to thedetoxgirl.com, I actually threw it in there because I'm like, this is worth sharing. Okay, I'm pretty excited about it. And maybe you've already seen it, but I've been chewing it for several months. But it has organic xylitol, organic erythritol, which I'm always like, I need to deep dive that a little bit more and figure out, do you guys know much about erythritol? It's one of the sweeteners that I just haven't spent a lot of time researching. And as I read that, I'm like, I need to do that. But here's what's cool. It has organic chicle gum, organic mastic gum, organic spruce gum. Like this is natural gum, like actual gum, not like, I don't know. I think that's so cool. Like from the trees and stuff. Organic myrrh gum, organic acacia gum, and then it's got spearmint flavor, nanohydroxyapatite, some calcium bentonite clay, eggshell powder, and then a natural terpene blend. So that's the ingredients, which, boy, I mean, that sounds so clean to me for most gums that I've been using. And I love this stuff. Now, it comes, for a while, they were shipping it in a little black bag. I didn't like that, but they must have gotten the word from their customers because they went back to the box. And so you just put it like that's your 2 there. Now it says to chew 1 to 3 per day, and probably chewing 1 is preferable because then you can like chew throughout the day because they're not cheap, right? But here's me. Here's Sonia. Here's my justification. If it's helping me strengthen my teeth, especially with age, right? Like I think it's even more important, and it's really important. My teeth are super important to me. And so if this is helping, I'm willing to pay a little bit of a premium because it checks a lot of boxes for me. So back when I was a girl, this probably would have been called like a chiclet or whatever, but it's not really like that. It's actually, I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, I like to chew 2. Because with 2, I can blow bubbles. I know. I have not blown bubbles since I was like little, chewing that pink chewing gum that got so hard within 10 minutes that you had to spit it out. Here's another thing I love about this. I can chew it for 2 to 3 hours. Never have I ever been able to chew a gum this long. I think it blows me away. Now, one thing I have noticed is that it's got a really strong spearmint, which I love because it like freshens my mouth. But I cannot drink ice water while I've got the fresh gum in my mouth. That spearmint like opens up something and I almost get an ice cream headache, which normally I drink ice water all day. I'm not sensitive at all. So just to note, if that happens to you, it happens to me. But it usually goes away as soon as like the initial, like the flavor has kind of died down a little bit. But anyway, so go to thedetoxgirl.com, and I think I added it there. It's hydroxyapatite gum. There's more than one out there, so find one that feels like a good fit for you. This is just one that I highly recommend. Here's how much I love this, if this gives you any idea. I actually put it on auto ship, which I kind of try to not do a ton of auto ships. I do them when I know I'm going to use them and I don't want to reorder. So I do have some, but this has now added, this has joined the auto ship ranks. My kids like it so that it passes my teenager and young adult test. I had Willie try it. Willie's not really a big gum chewer, nor was I. And I think he was decently impressed. Fun fact, I went to, I don't know if I shared this story with you guys. So I think I did. I shared with you why I'm getting facials. Like I've been, I think now to 3 facials. I've never really done facials in my life. And went in and my esthetician, I'm like claiming her now, right? But she was like, you have a really good jawline. And I was like, oh, thanks. And then later, I said to Willie, hey, she said I had a good jawline. And I said, I think it's all the gum I'm chewing because I'm trying to justify, an added added cost to my monthly spend. And he's like, oh, whatever, you've always had this jawline, whatever. So anyway, but I do believe, and if you have teenagers on TikTok and whatnot, it's kind of a trend to chew gum to actually build your jaw muscles. Well, I chewed this the first day. I was like, oh, this is amazing. I'm blowing bubbles. And the next day I woke up and I was like, oh, what is that? I felt muscles I had not felt. I don't know if I've ever felt like those muscles. And so now I don't get that way. See, I built up strength. Isn't that so good? But I sure did in the first few days. I was like sore from chewing this gum. Another thing I love about it is I've been traveling. You guys, I cannot even believe how much travel I've fit into this year. Willie actually goes, are you having a midlife crisis? Like, I have thoroughly enjoyed it. Did over a week in the Bahamas. On the tails of that, flew to Australia, just got back from Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, which was so lovely. And now today, just got my flight booked to Norway, and then I'm extending with one of my dear friends. We're going to go to Europe, and we're going to do hiking, beaches, try to just experience a little bit of Portugal, Spain, and Italy. It's going to be a fast trip through there, but I know I have some of you who live there, so please reach out, let me know. Ours is more the south tip that we're hitting this time of Portugal, Spain, and Italy more so, but if you're in that area, let me know. It'd be fun to meet up. Okay, so I digress. What was I saying? Oh, airplanes. I hate it when my ears get plugged. This gum is the world's best airplane gum for just helping keep my ears open, which generally I don't have a massive problem, but boy, when I do, I just hate that. So another thing for that. Also, supposedly chewing gum is supposed to reduce anxiety and be a calming thing. I don't know if that's all true. Can you guys all hear me? I actually have a different mic, and now I'm suddenly going, lately I haven't seen the comments, and I miss your comments. I see them after I get off, but I'm not seeing them real time. But on YouTube and Facebook, hopefully you guys can hear my sound, because if you're letting me know in the comments, I'm not seeing comments. Eek. Anyway, all right. So that's what I've got today. Is if you are interested in finding a healthier chewing gum that actually has a product, an ingredient that is believed to help your teeth be stronger, and actually it's the ingredient our teeth are made to use. So it's not like fluoride, like our body's not made to use fluoride. So if you reach, again, do your own deep dive here, okay? It is a little bit more challenging since some of the info that used to be accessible is not as easily accessible now. I will tell you that. So when you're researching something, if you can't find anything, I still remember the day I went to search something that I had searched before, and it was nowhere to be found. And the only way I could still find it was to know the exact website, because it had been censored, right? It didn't align with whoever, whatever things need to align with. So I will say that when you're doing your research, it's super helpful to have a mentor in your life, or surround yourself by people, because sometimes that's going to be how you're able to get to the research that you need to do. It's not always easy, but having a strong community, like-minded community, I find is super powerful. It's one thing that I've loved about my Norwex business, is that it tends to be a super awesome community who tend to be quite wellness focused. And if they're not, they come in to Norwex, and then in the process of just learning about wellness and the downside of some of the things that we've just always assumed that's just how it is. You just clean with that window cleaner. You just do this. It kind of opens your eyes to a lot of things, honestly. So I do love that. And I love that I've gotten to mentor people through that for 16 years. It's kind of amazing. And my Norway trip is actually a Norwex trip, as my level is Silver Senior Vice President Leader. And there's 4 of us there at that level globally. And so at that promotion, we did earn this trip to Norway. And so it's my second time back. Very, very, very excited to be there. And those of you who know me know that my heritage is largely Norwegian. And so the first time I went, I was just blown away. It was a special occasion, got the huge opportunity to be at our global CEO, her and her family farm, which is on a fjord in Norway. Oh, so amazing at so many levels. It was just amazing. And when I was there, I really went, oh my goodness, so much of my heritage I saw when I was in Norway. And I had no idea how high the Norwegian influence was in my upbringing. But when I was over there, I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. So I'm super excited to go back to Norway. And then, like I said, do a little sweep through Spain, or through Portugal, Spain, and Italy, southern part. And so stay tuned for that as I keep y'all posted on travel things. I think I'm going to have to figure a few things out for that Europe travel. So if you've got Europe travel tips, put them in the comments. I want to hear. One thing that I'm hearing is that if at all possible, it's beneficial not to check a bag and just have like one carry-on. And I don't know if I can do that for the amount of time that I'm going to be gone, which it's going to be a bit of a trip again. I'm like, wow, can I do this on one little carry-on? I actually today found the packing cubes that compress. So not just packing cubes, but they like suck the air out. Thought, well, maybe if I did that, I can swing it. Because I don't mind checking a bag, no problem. But if we're going to be going on different airlines and having to haul that on, or if we take public transportation, like, oh, do I really want to have that checked bag? So help a girl out if you know some tricks. And the other thing as I was researching this about Europe travel, I'm like, oh, I'm learning so much. So stay tuned. We'll be talking about that, I'm sure, in the upcoming weeks. And for today, if you would like to get yourself some amazing gum, and actually, I think they literally have like a 30-day satisfaction guarantee or something crazy. So if you don't love it, I think you can actually send it back. But I have just found it to be so fabulous. All right, so we'll take that off. And I have to get off to see y'all's comments. So I'll comment in the comments, but for whatever reason, my system has stopped it. I'm sure it's user error. I probably need to go tweak some setting. That's how it is. So anyway, thanks for joining me. I hope you try the gum. I want to hear your feedback if you do. If you've got kids that love chewing gum and you too, like me, aren't wanting them to ingest ongoing aspartame, this is a great option. Now, there are some cheaper options. I can't remember. I can picture it. It's in our pantry, the non-fluoride gums. And so there's some more affordable non-fluoride, or non-aspartame, excuse me. But those don't have the hydroxyapatite. So that's why I'm pretty excited about this, having that. I'm like, well, that is pretty cool. All right. Good to see you, my friends. Go to thedetoxgirl.com. Check out all the things. I announced a couple weeks ago, I am now a certified emotion code practitioner. And to those of you who have booked appointments, and I've had the pleasure and honor of helping you bust out those emotions that just is so fun. I'm having just such a beautiful time with it. And so if that's on your radar, let me know if you'd like to be one of my early clients. I've actually been using this on myself for over a decade, and I just felt called after I did my thesis on my leadership program. Like, oh my goodness, I think I need to help people with this, because it's something that's helped me a lot, but also because I've done it for so long, it seems to come very naturally and easily. So if you would like to be one of my clients, let me know. And I would be super honored to help you unload, unpack all the stuck emotions. It's so mind blowing. You'll love it so much. All right, really, I've got so much to say tonight. Look at me just yakking. Anyway, I hope this was helpful. Really, I just wanted to tell you about that gum, but we took the long road getting there, but maybe there was something in that as well that you needed to hear. God bless you, and we will see you next week. And for all of you who celebrate Easter, praise God, Jesus is risen. Of course, Jesus is my everything. And so it's just beautiful to have this time of year when we get to celebrate that he is alive. And so anyway, if you celebrate that, happy Easter. And I hope you have a really blessed weekend. We'll see you all soon.